I love Rosemount for the love of music.
I love Rosemount Music because we are together here as a family. It brings everyone closer together and it leads to opportunities that not everyone has. This is an amazing chance for us as students to learn new stuff that not everyone knows.
I love Rosemount for its diverse community.
Something I love about Rosemount is the extracurricular diversity. The extracurricular activities that we have range from art clubs to music clubs to sports clubs. And no matter what you like or enjoy, you will find something to enjoy.
I love Rosemount because of its cultural diversity. There are tons of people from different walks of life and around the world. We are filled with people from different sexual orientation preferences and just races, and I love that we're all so accepting here.
Good evening, parents, grandparents, guardians, students, and all the community, and everybody hearing us, and welcome to our educational house. Rosemount High School welcomes you tonight and opens up its doors tonight and potentially and hopefully for the next 5 years. We had an absolutely amazing time for the past 2 weeks to go visit elementary schools and meet your child and your children. We had such a great time in conversing and dialoguing and presenting what Rosemount is all about. But all this cannot be done completely alone. And as for that, myself, Luigi Santamaria, the principal, proud principal of Rosemount High School, we went along on a tour that really made us really proud of the students that could potentially come to our school. With us, Ms. Best, our music teacher. We have also Andy Zimmerman, our student, secondary 4 student. We have Akeem Monroe, science teacher. We have also Mr. Mike Broomfield, science teacher as well. Welcome. And Ms. Seminara, our resource teacher. Thank you so much, team. It was a blast. I'm sure you had a good time, right? Meeting the students. We really did. And all what we had and what we did was very important for us was hands-on. Making sure that, and oftentimes when Mr. Broomfield spoke to the students and saw through Mr. Monroe and Ms. Best, what came out of us was passion. And what we had in return was passion out of the students. How it's important to have hands-on. It was important to visit them because education is cannot only be learned through books. It also be learned through experiments, through dialoguing, through talking, through different types of activities, and that's what we aim for. And as we spoke to the students, it was important to mention that academics is important, but also what's equally important is the fact that it's for a place here, high school, for them to grow as a person. So at Rosemount High School, we do not believe only directing kids. That's not our thing, to direct kids. It's actually to guide them. It is important for them to keep their personality, for them to show kindness, to them to show respect, to share, to talk, and to be leaders in terms of like making this place a better place. And indirectly, you make the community a better place. And also, what's important that once they come to our school, they feel that their learning path is extremely important. And that's what we have at Rosemount High. It is very, very possible that someone is really passionate about high science, high math, and choose to be a musician and have music as a concentration. The reverse is the same, high math, high science, and also choose art as a concentration. So it is diverse in terms of like path that you can choose. At the secondary one level, you could easily be choosing the core program. And with that, you have most of your classes in English and choose art as a concentration. Then you could use your core program and choose music as a concentration. And then you have the emerging program où les matières sont enseignées en français, c'est-à-dire les sciences, c'est-à-dire la géographie, les mathématiques, et on a le français langue enrichie. Ce côté-là est très bénéfique pour les élèves. Ils le font en 2 ans. And that's the beauty about when we say there's a learning path right there. And we have this model also at Rosemount High School, which is the junior and senior model. So not only the students will bridge from grade 6 to grade 7 to secondary 1, but also have a second bridge from secondary 2 to secondary 3. The secondary 1 students will be on the first floor, and then eventually will come to Sec 2. They will engage and move on to a senior type level. And also what's important that we spoke about is the feeling that they get when they walk into the building, that they feel safe, that they feel that they could be themselves. And often we talk about IQ, but the emotional intelligence is important. We develop the students to be well-rounded, that to be prepared when they are out there in the community, when to approach situation, when they are in need of a conversation. That is important. ECA is also important when we ask the students what you're passionate about, and some put their hands up about music, about art, and about also science and high math and writing, and all of that is important. And the fact that even the feelings that they were saying about when we spoke about music and when we spoke about art, how they felt like calmness when we spoke about art. They spoke about creativity, imagination, and all those things should always be a dream of theirs, to never give up in dreaming and imagining a better world for themselves, but also a better world around them. And that's what we believe at Rosemount High in terms of making them feel that they will be guided from day one all the way through to Sec 5, and making sure at the end of the finish line, they are winners, they are ready, and they are content of their journey here at Rosemount High School. On that, I love the sound of music. Yes, the movie itself, but also the sound that comes out of our amazing music program. And Miss Bess quite directs an incredible program there along with the bands. Miss Bess, take it away.
pleasure to be here, to show you and talk to you about what we do in music. That is so special. The group that you just heard was filmed last year in June. It's our secondary 4 and 5, and as you can see, even in a year with lots of difficulties, we at Rosemount were still able to make music and share that joy and beauty with our students. So, introduce myself. My name is Miss Best, and I welcome you to our auditorium, which is in the music wing at Rosemount High School. Yes, we have a wing just dedicated to music. So we're very fortunate to have beautiful rehearsal spaces, and on stage is actually where all of the classes, the larger group classes, take place. But we have many other rooms and facilities that we get to offer to our students. So I come from a long career in teaching and instrumental music, 28 years actually at Rosemount, 27 at Rosemount, and also teaching at the secondary level, but also with experience teaching conducting and instrumental courses at McGill University as well. So I love band, I love music, and I have the great pleasure to work on a daily basis with my wonderful colleague, Mr. Anthony Cooperwood, who is not here this evening, but he brings his multitude of professional experience as a performing professional musician and with his many years as a touring musician with Cirque du Soleil. So really between the two of us, we cover one end to the other end of what music has to offer. Here at Rosemount, we have a specialized music program. It is an advanced program where we learn the beauty of music. We learn the language of music through studying instruments. Specialized in instruments. And we have the wind, we have brass, and we have percussion instruments. So we have lots of them because everybody's like, well, do you have the recorder? And no, we don't. We all have our professional instruments. So we have things like our flutes, we have clarinets, trumpets, all sorts of things. But my personal favorite, what the kids should all remember, is the tuba. Yeah, that's the best instrument. So if you want to come to Rosemount and be awesome, play the tuba. That's actually my instrument. So we have instruments for everyone. We own the instruments and they're loaned out to the students. So there's no rental costs or anything like that. At the moment, we have instruments for everyone. No one shares, which is very important because in order to learn and progress on an instrument, you have to practice. You have to have time on it. And if you're, fighting with other kids, I take it home tonight, I'll take it tomorrow. No, everyone has their own, and all musical material is provided for the program for the students. Now, a question I always get is, can I play the flute, or can I play the tuba, or can I play the alto saxophone if I have braces? This is a reality for a lot of our students at this time of their life, that they end up with braces. And the answer is absolutely yes. Any instrument can be played by anyone. First of all, you have to have the interest, you have to put in the work, and then we will help you with all of those. So there's no limits as to what instrument you could choose if you have braces or something like that. And sorry, kids, everybody asks me all the time, what's the easiest instrument? There isn't one. They're all incredible, they all have their challenges, but they all are really rewarding to have. So what's happening right now in grade 7 in Rosemount is that we're studying and learning the theory and the music to learn to read, which is very important, music literacy. And then very soon, we will have also studied all of the band instruments. And from there, the students will give me their top 3 or 4 choices. And then it is my professional job to make sure the band sounds good and it's balanced. And most of the time, we're pretty good, first or second choice. So everyone is just thrilled to be able to have the opportunity to learn an instrument and to be part of a band. Because adults, as you know, there's no time for that when we get to be, our age. So this is the perfect time to be coming into Rosemount Music and starting in grade 7. Very important. Now, the instrument that they choose in grade 7 will become their primary instrument for the time that they're in music. Most students stay for 5 years. Starting in secondary 2, there is the option to start a secondary instrument in one of our other ensembles. So each grade has a band. So we have secondary 1, 2, 3 band, and a symphonic wind, which is secondary 4 and 5. We also usually run a jazz band junior and a senior jazz band as well, and multiple drum lines, which is a program that no other high school in the EMSB actually has. So it's unique to us. And so they will be working on, could choose, they don't have to, but they could choose a secondary instrument in secondary 2. And actually this year, we have interest in starting some other ensembles. So we really listen to what the students are asking us to do, and whenever possible, we facilitate it. So we will have a saxophone quartet for the first time in about 20 years. So we're very, very excited at that as well. Another question I get asked often, especially with grade 7 parents, and I understand that very well, I'm a mom, is, are there band rehearsals after school? In secondary 1, there are no rehearsals after school. Everything takes place during the regular school hours. Band rehearsals do start as part of their program starting in secondary 2. Secondary 2, it's 1 hour a week, it's once a week, and secondary 4 and 5 usually have 2 rehearsals after school. But by the time they get there, they're ready for it. But secondary 1, everything will be contained within those school hours. Secondary 1 and 2 in music is a cycle. Well, it is in the whole school. So they will stay with that instrument. They'll stay in music for that cycle of secondary 1 and 2. And then there are other options that happen in secondary 3. But the majority of students stay until secondary 5 because it's great. They enjoy it. Now, we do have a lot of extra activities and co-curricular activities that are part of their actual classes that we do. So we have workshops for each level where we bring in professional musicians to work on a specific topic, such as world drumming, which is very popular for our younger students. And also we have a strong connection with the Montreal Symphony Orchestra. We have, every year, we hear at least one performance by this world-renowned orchestra. And it also balances out the fact that we do not have strings, viola, cello, violin here at Rosemount. So it creates a really complete music education, even if we don't have strings. Plus, it's so much fun for our students to interact with other students, with other professional musicians. We learn something from every musician that we meet. And I hold that as a truth, and it's true for our students as well. After we've learned a little bit more and we can actually perform things, we obviously have concerts, and we're hoping to get back to our normal presentation of concerts. But as you can see by the video, we are able to find a way to still have it be very fulfilling for the students at the end of the year to be able to perform. And then that concert is available on our website, rosemountmusic.com. So there are all sorts of different concerts from last year featuring our drum lines that we did, our percussion ensembles, and a few solos. So check back frequently because we are working and updating it. And we thank Mr. Cooperwood, my partner here in music, who has built and designed and is adding to our wonderful website. So it's a really nice way to see some of the other things that take place here, because there's a lot of stuff that happens. So after we have learned what we're doing, the most important thing is for us to share music with the students. Some of our grade 6 students that we have met in the past 2 weeks actually remember the Rosemount Band, dressed in red, that we came to their school for Christmas concerts. This has been a long-standing tradition, and it was really, really wonderful that they recognized us and they remembered us. So music has an impact, and it's very important for my students to pass that on to, well, your children. Hopefully your children will be my children in next year. So check out the website, rosemountmusic.com, and there's also ways of contacting us. And I tell you, if we're able to put on our Christmas concerts, there'll be lots of media, so you'll be able to know when you're able to come and see us. It's an exciting, vibrant place to be, and it is a good, happy place for your children to be in this program. They learn life skills, they meet people that they will that will stay with them for the rest of their lives. I've been here a while, and you would not believe the number of adults that come back and say, oh, Miss, I remember this happened in music, and it was 20 years ago, but it had such a strong impact on their life and on their development as a person. And so I'm very, very proud and pleased and honored to be part of that growth and education. So I'd like to introduce Andy Zimmerman. He is our secondary 4 student. He's been playing alto sax now for 3 years. And Andy has been with us on all of the tours, so performing like a professional. And it's really nice for the elementary kids to see him, because he started out exactly where they were. So I think Andy would like to do a shout out to Pierre Elliott Trudeau. I know he was really happy to go back to his elementary school. So I think what we'll do is let Andy play a little bit. Okay, just a little something, and then we'll come back. Great, thank you, Andy. And we spent a lot of time online last year trying to teach music and ensemble music, and as good as our technology is, there's nothing like being live. So we had a little bit of echo there, but Andy, fantastic. Now, Andy, I have to ask, because he was in the same position as your children are right now in grade 6, making this huge decision. Where do I go? Where feels right to me? So Andy, why did you choose Rosemount?
I came to Rosemount because of the music program, for sure. But the main reason I came is because of how I felt when I came into school. I felt it was a secondary home for me, and I could share as much as I can with the teachers as I could with my family. And it's great. Felt like home.
That's a way that a lot of people describe Rosemount, is a family, and certainly Rosemount Music is a smaller family within our larger one. So Andy, I'm curious to see, what was your favorite memory of high school so far?
My favorite memory of all, I must say, was the first time second time I really played a song with my whole band in grade 7. It was amazing. I felt as much energy. I felt really good. And I felt the same energy from everyone around me. It was great.
Yeah, it's a truly special moment that can only happen when you work really hard together and everybody is focused together. And that's one of my favorite things as well, being part of that focus, standing up and directing, of course, but being part of that family. Thank you, Andy. Thank you very much. And this is fantastic. So please let us know if you have any comments or questions. We'll try to answer as many as you can. So I'd like to now send it back over to our principal, Mr. Santa Maria.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bess and Andy. Excellent, just phenomenal. Just love it. In 3 words I kept that I could keep right now, and I've heard was family, home, and how good it feels to be here. And thank you, Ms. Bess, because you definitely conveyed that. And also, Andy, we felt through the screen how we feel about Rosemount and how you feel being here. Thank you so much. And now, how about some little explosions and a little bit of action with our science? And here we go, Mr. Monroe, Mr. Broomfield. Take it over.
Whoa, what the heck? How do you guys do that? It looks like plankton.
Ryan.
It's like a mushroom.
It is.
I blew it.
Wow. Yeah, right when I took out my phone.
Jason, you're so rich with.
Okay, it's coming.
Isn't it? Look at the can. Can's on fire. That's pretty cool. Okay, now come on up. Come on up, guys. Whoa! It looks like lava. It essentially is.
Cool. Well, yeah, I'm Mr. Monroe, as you can see on the thing, and Mr. Broomfield, I call him.
I'm Mike Broomfield.
And we thought maybe we could just start talking about what happens at the beginning of high school, and then Mr. Broomfield can maybe talk about what happens later on in the experience. So, I mean, as Mr. Santamaria talked about, we sort of have a junior school model where we like to welcome in the students in two sort of steps, where first we look at secondary 1 and 2, and sort of bridge the gap towards secondary 3, 4, and 5. And when we start off, the courses that we have in secondary 1 and 2 are really supposed to just help students sort of see a little bit of the beauty of science and unlock some of the sort of hidden beauty of nature. And so some of the ways that we try and do that is, well, we try and follow a couple of rules where, first of all, we start off with safety, and safety is number one. We have to make sure everybody is going to be well through the experiments. But we always really try and focus on people having fun and enjoying and forming positive associations, positive experiences within the science program. Because at the end of the day, that's going to help students learn more and also tap into maybe ways of learning that are new to them. And so really when students are in secondary 1 and even 2, I would say that the marks are maybe less important, or I shouldn't say the marks are less important, but we focus more on improvement. So it's okay if a student isn't doing so well at the beginning, but what we always work towards is improvement and getting better and getting better and getting better. Developing study skills that will then allow them to succeed later on. And as I was saying, I think that there's some hidden beauty in the world that everybody should have the chance of seeing at some point or another. And then later down the road, some students will really choose to pursue that. But at least everybody gets to see a little bit of sort of the beauty in the world. And we try and do that through, I mean, obviously there's going to be classes, but also a lot of hands-on experiences. So, for example, in secondary 1, we do spend a bit of time working with Legos, where students will develop sort of, hands-on skills, some programming skills, some technology skills. There's also a lot of the year, or a portion of the year, I should say, that's dedicated to plants. And we're very fortunate at Rosemount to have an actual greenhouse in our school that works year-round and allows us to sort of play around with plants. And then later down the road, we'll do more engineering projects. Like one of the favorites is secondary 2, where at the end of the year we'll make bridges, and at the end we'll try them out. This one actually did quite well, but not all of them do. And so that's sort of a very nice experience of hands-on trying something out. And if it doesn't work, that's okay. It's really about the experience of trying something out and trying to understand why things work or didn't. And so we do try and do as many projects as possible. I have behind me over here, this is in secondary 3, we talk a lot about the human body. And so we'll get students to make models of different parts. So this is human skin made by a student. And I have to believe that somebody who's made this has a whole other understanding of how skin works than somebody who's just learned it out of a textbook. Also very popular in secondary 3, and I think one of the things that everybody looks forward to are the dissections. So we actually are able to bring in some specimens and do dissections on real organic specimens. And of course, these are not, they're not mandatory. Anybody who wouldn't feel comfortable doing that, no problems whatsoever. But to be honest, I think that the people that I've seen that really get into it, it's not exactly the people that you would always suspect. And it really, really gives this hand-on beautiful experience of how living things work. And as I say, that all of this is sort of throughout this whole experience of secondary 1, 2, and 3, we're building up slowly study skills, showing people, okay, how do I take notes? How do I study for an exam? And always reevaluating that and maybe thinking about, okay, well, I could do better this time this way if I did this differently, and giving people that space to try new things out. Because of course, by the time they get to secondary 4, there's well, I'll let Mr. Broomfield talk about what happens in secondary 4.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Monroe. I'm Mike Broomfield, one of the science teachers here. Thank you for coming out. That means you obviously care a lot about your child's education. So as Mr. Monroe was saying, obviously health and safety is number one. Oh, and I should mention my background is in engineering, and Mr. Monroe is in physics from McGill. So just so you know, and so number one is health and safety, and obviously in the lab, we showed you that video at the beginning because all the schools are going to do labs. And we do them with rigor and teaching them the proper methods so that they can advance. But we really are passionate about science, and hopefully, I really believe that is infectious towards the student. That is a good thing, and it grows on them. Or if they already have that passion, it makes it even better. It is a small school, so well, not small, but it's not one of those huge schools. So it's nice that we really get to know the students, and there's also a lot of communication between the teachers about students too. So that also helps with their well-being and the fact that it does feel like a family here. It really is a very positive energy in the school. So as for science in Sec 4, Sec 4 is a very important year, and Sec 5, because obviously they're moving on to whatever path and career they choose, and we want to really facilitate that. And obviously there's two parts to that. There's the academics, which opens the doors for the future, and then part of that is actually having fun. So there's a lot of work they have to do. We will help them. We do help them all the time. I really believe there are so many supports here at the teacher level, at the community level. The environment is very positive. I find students are helping each other a lot, and again, like communication across teachers and finding the right way to get to every student to succeed. Now, and the academics, of course, are key. But to really get the best out of students, we do have to make it fun. We have to give them that passion. We have to show them the hands-on and have those exciting moments. In addition to the regular labs where they're learning, and they love labs of any kind, obviously, and so we do try and throw in a lot of variety and a lot of passion. In terms of dissections, we do dissections, and the reason is this is what produces the doctors of our society. I care deeply about animals, but and we teach that respect, but it is what produces our doctors, so it's important. And so we are pushing the academic rigor. We go for if there are in the upper grades, students can choose between the more art path and the enriched science and math path. So we try and tailor the educational experience to the needs and the directions the students are taking. And it goes in the science path, they go all the way to the physics and chemistry in grade 11, which leads on to pure and applied sciences or health sciences if they so choose. So we've had students go on in their path to engineering and medical school and nursing or any path they choose. The options are open here. So just so you know. In secondary 4 also, actually throughout, as Mr. Monroe mentioned, starting in secondary 1, the students get involved in the robotics with the Lego robotics systems that we have. We also have clubs. And then in secondary 4, we transition to Arduino. Some of your children may have heard of this or have actually had experience with it. It involves a little more hands-on sort of programming, coding. It uses C++ programming language, which is an actual professional programming language. And they each get their own Arduino kit, which they actually take home. It is essentially, it's called the microcontroller, but it's essentially a computer. And they learn to use a breadboard, and they do the wiring for all the, from like, I don't know if I'm going to show this well, but the LEDs to the sensors. This one measures distance, stepper motors, just a whole bunch of variety. I mean, I could show you the whole kit, but it's very complete. And they do that on with a lot of support. I get them started in the library with the school computers, and then they take their kit home and they use it at home and develop the projects with support. And it's very rewarding. So it opens up a whole other path, career path or hobby or just an experience for them. So there we go. So basically, we're trying to provide a really rich experience, school experience, educational experience, science experience, hands-on, and really open doors for their future by really pushing them to maybe do some things that they didn't think they could. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun for everyone, and I hope that helps. I hope that answers a lot of questions. And I'll pass it over to Mr. Santamaria.
Thank you so much, Mr. Monroe, Mr. Broomfield. Thank you so much for showing your passion. Again, few words that came that I actually noticed in this your presentation. Again, is to have fun. That it's important. When learning is fun, we learn more. We spoke about hands-on, and that's important. We spoke a lot with the students that we visit in elementary school, hands-on, and study skills, developing study skills as well. So, and to always try, never to give up, to try, and it leads exactly to what we believe in. It's each an individual student within Rosemount High School has his own learning path, own learning ways. On that note, I will now introduce Ms. Seminara, our resource teacher.
It's true. And that method would be more inclusive. Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Welcome to the Rosemount Resource Department. I'm Ms. Fulkins, coordinator for the resource team.
I'm Ms. Seminara, French and Social Science Resource Specialist.
I'm Ms. Patricia, Math Resource Specialist.
And I'm Mr. Coriolan, Math Resource Specialist.
We're present in many of your core subject classes to help you succeed. We offer support to all students.
We focus primarily on students who struggle academically or who have particular learning needs, such as those who follow individualized education plans, also known as IEPs.
You might see us come into your classroom with tools to help students who need them during evaluations, or maybe you'll see us pull students out of class to work with them in another room.
Most often, we'll be in your class to help answer questions, offer more explanation on the subjects at hand, and keep you organized.
You'll most likely see us working with other resource team members who are present to help you.
Our attendants, Mrs. Isabel, Ms. Victoria, and Ms. Georgia, who follow specific students in most of their classes.
Our special education technician, Mr. Jason, as well as our French and math tutors.
If you're having a hard time with one of your classes or are looking to review your material, need help studying or getting organized, or just need a hand starting or finishing an assignment, we're here for you.
You can find Ms. Seminara, Mr. Carillion, and myself in room 34B, and Ms. Patricia's after school hours in 31N. Or you can reach us by email, which can be found on the school website.
Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm glad you had the chance to meet some of my wonderful colleagues in the resource department in this video. As mentioned, my name is Ms. Seminara, and I'm one of the resource teachers here at RHS. And I'm privileged to work alongside an exceptional team of professionals, ranging from our devoted attendants, our special education technician, our wonderful guidance counselor, and our super passionate teachers, as many of you have seen this evening. Resource teachers are present in most classes to provide additional academic support. And we also offer the pull-out support method when needed. For those students who are following an individual education plan, we help facilitate accommodations for assessments, notably with regards to assistive technology, whether it be on school iPads or school laptops. We use softwares like WordQ, which perhaps some of your children are familiar with already in the elementary school system. And if they're not, then we provide the workshops, the hands-on workshops, so that they feel empowered and ready to use these softwares here at RHS. We recognize that the transition from elementary school to high school comes with its own challenges. And this is why the junior model at RHS really does a wonderful job at smoothing those bumps, those challenges, and providing that bridge for our junior students. In addition to that, our resource teachers and those that are part of the resource team, but also our wonderful teachers, provide that support to help students that may be struggling with study skills, that may need help with developing their executive functioning skills, with organization, with maybe being exposed to a variety of different learning strategies and study skills that they might not have been exposed to earlier on. I'd like to share two words that come to mind when I think of RHS. The first one, diversity. The second one, inclusion. So let me begin with the first one. I think of diversity because of the fact that our student body is very much a multicultural one. We have students from all over the world, including our international students, in fact, and this diversity definitely helps enrich the learning experience. But I would say that diversity is also noted here at RHS in terms of neurodiversity and embracing the unique learning profiles of all our learners. We recognize that every student learns in a unique way. And so we want to help empower students to feel comfortable with their unique strengths and identify those strengths and build upon them for future success. When it comes to inclusion, I agree with everyone here this evening that spoke about the sense of family. Rosemount is a family, and it feels like that not only for our students, like Andy mentioned earlier, but also for the staff. Working together is really a wonderful part of being part of this team and this community. And with regards to resource and the resource department and the support that we provide our students, inclusion is emphasized with the emphasis placed in-class support, providing in-class academic support to students who might be struggling, or perhaps for students that need that extra enrichment. We also recognize and build, like I said, on students' strengths and helping them actually recognize what their strengths, what their interests, and what their passions are, and using a strength-based approach to help them in their areas of improvement. So I hope that gives you a fairly good idea of what resource support looks at RHS, and I'm able to answer any questions in specific to our department and to the support we provide. In the meantime, I'll pass it over to our principal, Mr. Santamaria.
Thank you so much, Ms. Seminara, for a very thorough explanation about how resource works. Again, a few words that came to mind. We spoke about diversity, we spoke about inclusion, and also we spoke about strength within students. And that's important because it's within them, it's what we build, it's what they will continue to develop, and always looking at the positive side of things. And let's put the negative side on the side, and it's always concentrate on the positive, that things will work out all the time. I know that I noticed a question that came from Facebook. How about registration for French? Obviously French, and I'll move on also with coming to our school. The French, you could choose the French at the secondary 1 level, as explained, called the immersion program. You have a Français enrichi, along that the mathématiques is taught in French. We also have sciences, géographie, histoire. All that is in that path. That is for 2 consecutive years. And then moving on for secondary 3 to secondary 5, they will remain in Français enrichi. We have an incredible French department who are passionate about the language, but furthermore about the culture of the French. And that is incredible because that really lives within us. One thing that is important to know is that we do not have entrance exams nor placement exams at Rosemount High School. We did say in repeating that this school is for everyone. This school there's a path for you there. We, in terms of placement exams, we trust the professionalism of our grade 6 teachers and also grade 5s and 4, that when we're communicating with them, so we understand where your child will be at the secondary 1 level, and then we'll adjust along the way to make sure that his or her path is very well guided. Also, what's important is that all the ECAs that we have that can represent them. But just this week, we had a play from Journey Theater that came to us, speaking about the digital reality of our world now. Later on this year, we're going to have Shakespeare. So we could range many different types of plays. We push about the culturism. We speak about well-being. We also have yoga at our school, instructors. We're looking at the outdoors. We're looking at indoors. Look at the intramurals within our school. We are part of GMA, but right now kind of on hold. But all that will be developed later on. We have arts club. We have sports clubs. We also, another question you see probably behind me, we have a uniform. Black pants are worn, and then the tops, we have a Rosemount top, which is burgundy. We also have white and black. We have always very, very popular, the secondary 5 level. How about those grad hoodies? Of course, if they get excited about the grad hoodies at the secondary 5, it's because they're almost there, they almost made it, which makes us really, really proud. And coming back again to the whole notion about Rosemount, it is a family. That word comes very often into this. And in a family, collectively, usually and cohesively, you help one another and you become so great and so good. And I mean, I'm proud to be the principal here, and I'll be even more proud to continue on with the journey here with the whole team. And I really like the comments that are coming in. I really, when I say I say we. It is impossible to be I within a team. It's a we. We have a fantastic office team as well, fantastic math department, English department. I mentioned the French, mentioned the social science, mentioned everyone that come through these doors every single day. And just like I started at the beginning, we tonight we open up our doors virtually, and we hope in the future we open up your doors for you physically for the next 5 years. That would be such an honor to have you here. And I would like again to thank our team. And it just a question just popped up right now. A team that we have also the art department. Yes, we have an art program, definitely within the art concentration. But furthermore, about the art program, we also have an art club that is actively in our school, day in and day out. So we have that as well. And coming back again, when it comes to the registration, I know that it's kind of, I don't know if you could see this, it's a package that we're giving out to our elementary students. And you could also go on our website to look under registration to see, to get a registration package. You could also call the school. You could also reach us directly at the Rosemount at emsb.qc.ca. Those emails kind of come to me, so I could answer you back. Also, the package will be there. How do I register for music? You check off where the music says at the secondary 1 level. So that is it's actually part of the package and part of the course selection that we have there. We don't have advanced math. We have the advanced math, meaning at the secondary 1 level. No, it's as of secondary 3 that we look at students that are at least 75 to 80% and move on to the high math, which will be the 436 math, and then move on to the 506 math. Anybody interested in the high science, then we look at the secondary 3 science mark. And for that, we see whether they could go on to the science option, which then you have, instead of 4 classes at the secondary 4 level in science, you have 8 classes. There's an advanced class and the regular science. And then you move on to the secondary 5 with physics and chemistry. I'm trying to see if there were any other questions. Looking there, yes, absolutely. Some students can be in the French immersion program and being in the art program instead of the music concentration program. Absolutely. And what's the beauty is that some students are passionate about science, or science or any other courses that are basic school regulation courses, but some students choose the art concentration but love music, and I know that they do music outside, and some other students are in the music concentration but love art, and that's why we implemented an art club as well here at school, where students could do art during lunchtime. They could do art after school. We had an amazing trip last year around the June time that we went to in the plateau to look at murals, to see anything that was learned in art through those art clubs. And we made us so proud because it was like through the pandemic, but it was right in June at the last few days of school, and so many secondary 5 students came and explored their own city, their own beauty, and their own culture, and saw all the creativity, the imagination that came through there, and what made them feel this art. So it was quite something. And the sports about school, we have sports, definitely. We range from soccer, basketball, volleyball, badminton, and we have really, really passionate athletes here in our school, and people that talk sports as well. So that's nice to see and nice to hear those conversations. If we could change from secondary 1 to concentration into secondary 2, let's say from secondary 1 to secondary 2, usually we try to keep it as secondary 1 and 2 stay for as much as possible. For example, if you choose music, it'd be great that you stay on for 2 years, because that's when we really see the improvement. We really see where we're going with that. If there are always exceptions to that, but usually we like to keep it that way. So we could see a consistency, and we see the growth of their learning. On that note, I'm trying to see if I see anything else. I love live shows. I love to be a principal. I think after this, I might be a sports broadcaster, because this is fun. And how about we tune in again tomorrow? Just joking. But I definitely enjoyed the time here. The 2 years, I'm just trying to see, something came up with enriched French for the first 2 years. Big transition between secondary 3, 4. There's not big transition. Obviously, when we talk about the math core program, that is core, and we have the French itself as a regular French. And when we have the immersion, yes, mostly in French. There's no, the bridge is pretty much smooth when we go from, let's say, the immersion going to the secondary 2 to secondary 3. The students perform very well. And the beauty about that is to hear them speak. There's this thing that we say about language, about the code switching. They could switch from French to English, English to French. And that's the beauty about being bilingual. That's what we want our students to be. It is key for them to be successful within the community and out there in the society and out there internationally. And we believe that international mindedness is important to every child for them to be good. So do you choose a kid that wants to go into music concentration? How do you choose? It's by choice completely at the secondary one level. So we can at that moment your choice is that. If the following year we'd like to keep it for 2 years, that's the explanation I gave, 2 years, and after that we also move on to secondary 3, then they can make that change. I don't know if Miss Best want to jump in onto this about the music. Miss Best.
Hi, we're really pleased to be able to welcome pretty much every student that wants to be in music in grade 7, regardless if they've had any private lessons or there are no requirements to come into the music program, because we have students that come upwards sometimes to 14 and more different elementary schools. We put everyone together and we kind of restart quickly from the beginning. We fill in all the musical gaps, and then we're usually able to proceed. And certainly for music, that 2-year cycle is so very important, because all our students don't all progress at the same pace, but by the end of the second year, they've reached a level of performance that they're very proud of. So it's simply by choice. You want to play in a band, you want to learn an instrument, and you're ready to work hard. But as I said, the rewards are great. So anyone can join in grade 7.
Great. Thank you for the explanation. And that's very important, where it's like the cycle model, and Ms. Best put it best. Great name. Where sometimes it takes longer, and there's some students that will take a little bit more time, but I always use this expression about the finish line. And we'll get there to the finish line. And sometimes it takes more practice. It takes more concentration, but definitely they move on and be successful. How many sports do we have here at Rosemount in terms of sports? Obviously, within our phys ed, we practice many different sports. We have teams, and one thing that I forgot to mention, I know we mentioned about soccer, volleyball, basketball. It's popular. Flag football, track and field is a very popular one as well, because some students are very good individual sports, and others more like sports itself, like team sports. So we try to come to every level. On average, how many students per class? At times it fluctuates depending on the number of students that register. Obviously, we register our students. It could range. Definitely, the average would be about 30. That's it. But sometimes it can range from one year to another, that we might have at times 26 students, 28, or 30 or 31. But there's an average there. That is at the secondary 1 level. And what we try to do at the secondary 1 level is to respect the choice. Actually, we do respect the choice between the art and the music, for them to have that sense of exploration for those two paths, either or that they ask. I don't want to stall anything, but again, if there's any other questions, I definitely welcome you to send an email, to reach our school. You could definitely find us. You could call our school, our website as well. Send us an email. Our team will be so happy to answer your questions and all concerns, because it's kind of a normal feeling from a grade 6 parent moving on to a secondary 1 also. And the thing is, what's really important to know, and I almost forgot about this, the transition about the bridge and the transition between grade 6 to Sec 1 at the Sec 1 level, and then there's the other bridge between the Sec 2 and Sec 3 level. The beauty about the secondary 1 and 2 is that the students have less teachers. So that's why the certain teachers teach multiple subjects. And that makes the students feel a lot more at ease, because it's some kind of, like I said, the junior type program, where we have a model that resembles elementary, but introducing the secondary way to do things. Registration is as of tonight. If anybody is very interested, we are taking registrations. You could always reach out to us. You could see where we could be contacted. We're also through our website again to get the registration package. If you call, we will answer you. Our lovely team in the front will definitely take on your registration. And if you have any other questions, because sometimes that happens through a presentation, that the presentation is over, and then I said, and then you think, I should have thought of one question or whatever. Please, please, please do not hesitate in terms of coming, actually sending us your email or ask questions about our school, about registration, and about your child's and the children's future endeavor here at Rosemount High School. And I would like again to thank the team. Everybody ready? Miss Best, Andy Zimmerman, Mr. Monroe, Mr. Broomfield, Miss Simonara, and I will actually want to thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We had such a blast going to the elementary schools. We again enjoyed this live feed. I see that the skeleton is also as happy as us, and we welcome you here at the Rosemount, and we hope to see your child and children right here at this beautiful institution called the Rosemount High School. Thank you so much, and good night.